Today is the 7th day in November 2023. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Vaso Bazagi, and it's another wonderful day, and I'm blessed to be on this side of the podcast. Having you guys on the other side of the podcast is just so amazing. I went through my activities, and boy, you guys are amazing. You guys have been spectacularly amazing. I'm so proud to have you guys. And we are continuing a journey. Last time we spoke about anger, how to heal, healing and all that. Today we'll talk about healing. Healing. So basically, last time I actually started my video podcast, and it's been amazing. It's on TikTok, on Instagram at Vaso for Real. On Instagram and on TikTok at Vaso for Real with double L, ends with double L, VASO number 4 REAL, double L for TikTok. And it's been tremendous, I must say. I talked about grief. Perhaps I'll talk about grief here again. I talked about a couple of things. You guys go check it out yourself. But meanwhile, before I take this healing to the video side, let me start from here. So, starting from the dictionary meaning of healing is to be whole again from an injury, to receive health, physical health, be free from injury or diseases, to make sound or whole, to be well again, to be restored to full health. And let me bring it to our daily lives, and not necessarily physical injuries, but mental injuries. So many of us don't know what it means to be in sound health mentally. Some of us don't even know what it feels like to be healthy mentally. Some of us don't even know what it feels like to be healthy spiritually. Some of us don't know what it feels like to be healthy economically. Some people were born poor. Some were born mentally challenged. Well, not necessarily mental issue or being insane. I mean, being in an environment where a chaotic environment. Some people grew up in a chaotic environment. Let me use the word chaotic. And they don't really understand what it means to experience healthy conversations, healthy love, emotional support. They don't know what it means to be human. They just don't know. Not because they do not want to know, but they didn't grow up in such an environment. And quite frankly, it can be very, very, very scary to have to be around people like this, not because they are bad people, but because you are not sure if these things would affect you. Of course, like with diseases and ailments, there's some transmittable disease by air, by water, airborne. There are diseases that can be contacted by touch contact. Some can be contacted by blood, some water, some blood, and some can't even be contracted at all. Like those hereditary diseases, hereditary ailments, diabetes. I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure you can get diabetes from someone else. I'm not sure. Anyways, we all get the picture now. We understand what it means right now. So what I'm talking about here is a lot of us have not really. Some of us were born whole. Of course, every child is born whole, and then their environment gets to damage them mentally. The extent at which your environment damaged you growing up is going to really have serious impact on you as a person. And this is not gender based. This is not really gender based. Although by gender, a lot of people by gender we are usually affected differently. We're usually affected differently when it comes to um, trauma and unhealthy environment. Some people look at a chaotic environment as a very healthy environment. Yeah, some people look at a chaotic environment as the best kind of place you want to be. Some people look at the environment where you don't get to talk, you hide your feelings, everybody gives you space, and see you are out of it, and nobody talks to you about it, and that's healthy for some people. Some other people, if you don't talk to them when they are down, oh, blood of the lamb, you it's crazy. And well, some others, well, it varies, but I would like to say that before you end up wanting healing, you need to see what is really right and what is really not right. I am someone who holds on to in certain kind of information till I see that beyond reasonable doubt you are proving me wrong, and that's my kind of person. Not because I want to be that person, but because it only makes sense to hold on to what um, till there is something that alternates what and gives you the pros and cons and shows you that look, whatever you need to upgrade on it. Yes, I used to have the feeling that look, in life there are no gray areas. It's either you're good or you're bad, either it's black or it's white. But trust me, there are gray areas in life, but there's not a lot of peace in those gray areas. There's not a lot of peace over there. I used to think that when you have gray areas, you become shady. I mean, think about it. Of course, I mean, this is me trying to show you that people's perspective in life um, would ultimately affect how they see life and how they view life. But the truth is, there are fundamental things that, as humans, that we can't alter to be healthy or not healthy. One of the things that you can't alter is kindness. Being kind to one another. Oh, trust me, I was not very kind some years back. In fact, I was not kind at some point. I was, and then life hits me hard, and then I became unkind. And now, thank God, life has hit me hard again, and now I'm back to being kind. You know, um, being kind is one fundamental thing that a lot of people overlook. And there's a thin line between being kind and being stupid. When I mean being kind and being stupid, I mean being kind, thinking about the person as human first before affecting change to who or what the person has done. But being stupid can go beyond that to see that this person you are trying to change is actually rejecting this change and is coming after your life. And you are standing there like, oh, I'm Jesus Christ, come and kill me. By the time they kill you, and then they now realize that, oh, what I did was wrong, you wouldn't be there anymore. I know some people will say, oh, I'd rather be what's the word now? Martyr than, but think about it. That's not a healthy way to live. Create healthy boundaries around people. You're in a relationship, create healthy boundaries in your relationship. In your job, create healthy. I know there's one thing that my previous boss was very proud of me about, was that I'm able to keep company secrets. Trust me, so many people can't keep company secrets. Trust me. So what I'm trying to say is, a lot of us didn't grow up healed rather. A lot of us grew up broken. A lot of us grew up damaged, and we thought that was the best kind of life that we had and we needed to have. That's what we thought. Because think I'm now, like street English, you say Yusuf, think I'm. If growing up you had traumatic experience, your mother was always chasing your father out of the house and they were always fighting, or your father was always beating your mother, or your parents were always bullying you. When I mean bullying, there's a thin line between reprimand and bullying. When you keep telling your child they will not amount to anything good, when you keep telling them, showing them how useless they are, that's not good. When your father doesn't even care about you, he doesn't put eye on whatever you are doing, he just say, oh, now my children, let them do what they are doing. That's not good. There are levels to these things. There's an age where you are stern with your children. There's an age where you are their teachers, and there's an age where you become their friend. You don't just say, oh, now my pick is my child, let me be their friend from baby till. That's going to be a very damaging thing. You have to learn to discipline, you have to learn to teach, you have to learn to mentor, and then you have to learn to be their friends. I mean, this is for those training up children. When I reach that bridge, I'll cross it. I'm kidding. And these things actually go a long way to how they relate to people. If you were always shushing your child up, and I'm not saying that you should allow your child to say all the garbage that he or she had learned on the street, but I'm saying that if you're always shushing your child up and like, oh, you're not supposed to be talking, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, the child becomes timid. Now there's also a thin line between being outspoken and being very insulting and rude. All I'm trying to say is, I'm not teaching you how to train your children. That's your decision. All I'm trying to say is, a lot of us were trained to be broken. A lot of us were trained to be broken, and your childhood is a fundamental key to healing or brokenness. If you didn't have sound upbringing, trust me, it's gonna affect you in every way. Let's come to the part where you now jump into relationships. You bring your brokenness into the relationship, and you are very sure that this person that you are with the person is not as broken as, because you don't know you are broken, but you feel the person is broken. There's something broken about this person because this person has a particular ideology, then it becomes a problem. And then there is the part where you have to heal from disappointment. A lot of people feel like, oh, every disappointment is a blessing. No, some disappointments can really wreck you. I remember I saw a video where they said this is where children started having trust issues from. two different videos. One where the parents are going out and the child is crying, I want to go with you, I want to go with you, and they're like, okay, go and get dressed, we're waiting for you. And then by the time by the time the child is dressing up, the child will hear the door close. Boom. Their parents are gone. That's the first line of disappointment where some people's villain story started. you know. And I also saw another video of um, a mother trying to get hold of the child, and the child is trying to run, and the child, okay, give me what is in your hand, and the child stretches his hand to give child stretches his hand to give the mother or the father whatever is in the hand, and the parent gets hold of the child's wrist, gets hold of the child's wrist, and these are very subtle ways where children get to develop trust issues because they are like, if I try it, this woman will catch me. This man will catch me and I'm done for. I am completely done for. The lashing they'll give me is very long, you know. Yeah, and these little things like this can be really heartbreaking. And I'm not saying that you should not catch your child when the child misbehaves. The other ways you can actually bring the child in and confront the issue and reprimand the child. Oh, I'm pro reprimand. I'm not the always talk. Oh, carry cane and flog that child first. Flog the child first. Then when the child is now stopped crying, you will now bring the child and say, look, I flogged you because of this thing. Don't do it again. It's the Bible standard. Hate me if you want, don't like me if you want. It's the Bible standard. That's my moral compass. It says spare the rod and spoil the child. No, but when you flog the child with one hand, I'm not saying carry your slippers and stone the child like our African mothers, or use broom, or use stick, or use table to stone the child. I'm saying a cane could be on the palm or it could be on the butt, not on the neck, not on the head. Palm, on the butt, not on the back. That's very bad. That's very abusive. When you've reprimanded the child gets to understand that, look, I'm being reprimanded. Oh, of course, not every child deserves flogging. There's some child that you talk to them, or they listen to you immediately and they desist from doing those things. But there are some that are EGRs, extra grace required. You need extra grace to deal with them. And there are some that actually just needs a few strokes of cane, 1, 2 on the hand, and the pain helps them too. Because pain changes all of us, whether you like it or not. Pain changes all of us. It changes me, it changes you. Whether you decide to accept it or not. Coming back to healing. We need to properly heal from whatever hurt we've gone through. And I'm saying this, I'm using the child scenario because it's a very perfect example of what we tend to go through and what we tend to, what our lives tend to become. Because these are the fundamentals where our life comes out from. And if you don't know how to heal, you will bleed on the next person. Yes, I said so. You bleed on the next person. You bleed all over the next person. And nobody likes to be bled on. You bleed all over the next person and then you blame them for bleeding. That's what it is. Hurt people. The broken are breaking. The ones who had their joy taken away, who have some other people's joy taken, you take from every other person. How do you know you're not healed? When you want to be vengeful. Some people feel like, and this is one of the things that came to mind when I was before I started the podcast. Some people feel like forgetting who the person was that hurt us is healing. Some people feel like, oh, when it's no more painful, we've healed. Some people feel like, oh, when we think about the person and we don't feel any sort of way, we have healed. No, we haven't. We really haven't. So what if you look at the scar? Would you feel the pain all over again? And the scar is not the person. The scar is usually the attitude. The scar is usually the behavioral pattern. The scar is usually, sometimes we even get injured, we even get broken by some other person's stories. Yes. I know somebody that got broken, got got broken from people's stories. Yes, I know this person. And the person practiced it actively based on what happened to some other person somewhere else. Yes. So you don't just imagine, let me tell you one short story. Small. Let me tell you a short story. So there's this lady back when I was in Edo State. The husband, she had a very beautiful lady. I mean, when I was like in my teen years, or what it was, I can't remember. Very beautiful lady. I remember because I used to go to her house to go and give her food, or give her food stuff, or pick up, or try to take care of the child, or help them clean up the house or something. And my mom was kind of counseling them, and she was trying to help make sure that the union was not destroyed. The truth is, these things, because of how sound my upbringing was, at some point it wasn't completely sound, but because of how sound my upbringing was, that in respect to this part of life, these things didn't affect me. Eventually, it didn't make me become a woman beater or whatever it is. It just made me feel bad for homes where the husband is absent, or the wife and husband gets to fight, and the child is, I remember a lady that I knew that had to keep saving her younger brother from the trauma that he would have gone through in the house when the father and mother were quarreling. But of course, there will always be one side of the story. And she told me that the father always beats the mother, whatever, attack her and all that. But when I experienced the mother, I maybe it was a trauma that she was feeling, but I feel like the mother had a hand in that particular matter. And I really don't want to put blames right now. But the point I'm making is, this person in turn treated people like that. She ended up treating people in this manner because she did not heal. That's the memory of her dad. Of course, dad died at her early years. The fact that the father was no longer there, the fact that the whole incident wasn't reoccurring, does not mean she healed. If after 5-10 years she could still relive that experience and have that nostalgic feeling, then she hasn't healed. The person hasn't healed. If you had to revisit that event, or you see somebody having to pass through that event, and the event becomes a trigger for you, you haven't really healed from that thing. Healing means completeness, complete wholesomeness. You are whole from this particular issue. It doesn't affect you in any way anymore. I have scars all over my body, at different places in my body. When I touch the scars, I don't feel the shock or pain of the injury I had. I only remember that the injury happened. I don't feel the pain anymore. You know, does not now make me feel like, oh, whenever I'm going through those parts that I had those injuries, I'll not be more cautious. No, I won't. If I'm more cautious, it means I have not healed. It means I have not healed from it. So the point I'm trying to make is, when you look back at those things that you experienced, you went through, if you have the feeling that you felt when you went through that, then you haven't healed. If that feeling creates a sense of hatred for a particular kind of people, then you haven't healed. You haven't healed. Healing comes when you have completely not forgotten, not internalized, but accepted that it is life and things like this would always happen every now and then. And it's not the person's fault that whatever happened. That's healing. That's true healing. Knowing that there were things beyond people's um, control and we are just human, which is what I said. There are some fundamental things that as human beings that we need to understand. We won't remember that we're human and we're vulnerable to a lot of things. Vulnerable to a lot of things. But that doesn't mean that you keep repeating those events all over again by yourself. Some kind of injuries that you would have. Yeah, you've gotten so used to the pain that whenever the leg is not paining you again, you hit the leg where the where the injury is, or you press the place just to feel that pain. That's what a lot of us do. And I used to be guilty of this, because healing is gradual, healing is deliberate, healing is permanent. So if you say you've healed and somebody triggers you again, then you've not healed. You haven't healed. You haven't healed. If something of that same nature happens again, it triggers you, then there's a problem. And these kind of problems are the ones that God is specialized in. Yeah, I said so. He can actually heal. He can actually heal just the way diseases are being healed. He can actually heal you and make you whole, like nothing ever happens to you in the first place. That's God. So my advice is, and I'm not giving you action points, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just advising and saying, look, if this is you need to come to the completion of healing. You need to completely heal. You need to find the root cause of this damage that has been done. You need to go deep down. Oh, you feel angry, you feel sad, you feel moody when you see a particular person or a gender or whatever it is. You need to go back to your roots and ask yourself, where did this thing come from? And when you find out where it came from, begin to cancel it one after the other. Tick your boxes. This person is human. This person has limitation. This person has external factors that affect their decisions. And then that's when healing comes. I pray that we all heal. I pray that we genuinely heal. We come out of wherever it is that we have been held hostage. In Jesus' name. I love you guys. Have a wonderful morning. Have a wonderful day at work, at school, wherever you're listening from. Have a beautiful day. God loves you more than I do.